Hello everyone. I apologize for shooting this video on my cell phone. I am traveling for work currently and don't have access to the studio. Usually I would not do this, but at the moment I think that this update is important enough to get out quickly, and so rather than waiting another week before I get home, I wanted to make this video as soon as possible. So first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who has watched and commented on and added to the discussion of our localization controversy video that we shot with Alexander O. Smith. It has been amazing to see the flood of responses, both, very, very positive feedback, and of course, I think some warranted criticism. I try to emphasize this a lot on our channel. For those of you who may be tuned into that video who aren't subscribed to our channel or who haven't watched us before, you may not have heard this, so I wanted to make it clear now that I am not an expert on many of the topics that we discuss, and I see our discussions as an opportunity for me to learn, and I often do learn a ton from these, and so I'm always open to revisiting topics again when there's new context, and shifting my positions and things of that nature. So whether you were super angry at the things that we said and you were lambasting us, or whether you were giving reasonable constructive feedback, or whether you just loved what we did, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching that video and for adding to the discourse. This is a very complex issue, and it becomes more complex the more I learn about it. So here's the thing I wanted to say. By no means is this the end of the conversation, and by no means was our video meant to be something that was authoritative or final as far as that goes. And not only has Alex reached out to me and said that he would be willing to do a follow-up to that video, which will happen in the future, I also reached out to a Twitter account many of you may know. I hope I pronounced this right. I'm not sure how it's meant to be pronounced, but Zakogdo. This is the Twitter account that posted the original thread on the Unicorn Overlord translation that we covered in our video talking about, is the Unicorn Overlord translation bad, right? So this is a person who is very passionate about this issue and clearly stands very firmly on the side that localizations and translations should strive as much as possible for, perfect faithfulness in every case that they can. So I reached out to this person, and while they're not willing to come on the show directly in either video or audio format, they did agree to a text-based interview. And I just want to again express how thankful I was for that. I have received a large document in response to my questions that was very well articulated and was super reasonable, and with which I agree to basically 99% of what was said. It was really, really good. So as soon as I get home, as soon as I get back, I'm going to be filming another episode going over his perspective on this. And I think it is fascinating. I think it is, well, bound to add context to this conversation that I've been looking for, that isn't full of sort of the angry rhetoric that you see a lot of times. And for me, I think what has driven me to sort of like weigh in on all of this is that I personally struggle when I see a lot of anger that leads to assumptions. I just don't like to make assumptions about people and their reasons for what they do. That is basically like my biggest issue that I have taken with a lot of this kind of criticism that I have seen. It's not even like the source of the critique itself as much that I have disagreed with. And I wanted to make that clear as well. I think one thing that we haven't done very well in any of the videos that, at least recently, I think in the past, several years ago when we've talked about, say, Fire Emblem Fates, right? There are certain support conversations in there that have been censored or changed to such an incredible degree that, we thought it was totally unacceptable. And we've talked about that in the past. And again, sometimes I'm not very good at, restating something like that for a new audience. So I kind of figure I've said this before, people know my position, and that's just not always the case. So I feel like I actually agree a lot more than maybe people realize with these critiques and, this fair criticism going towards localizations. I also just started a playthrough of Eiyuden Chronicle, which is a game that I backed on Kickstarter and had been very excited for, and which I'm aware also has some controversy surrounding how it was localized. And so I have some thoughts on that too that I'll add in that episode that I record when I get back. But yeah, there's a certain character there, Leanne, I think that's the one that most people have focused on in some of these comparisons, that I find to be insufferable. Just totally insufferable. Whenever she opens her mouth, I want to punch my fist through the screen. Right? And so, by no means do I want to deny that there's some bad localization jobs out there. There are, and I do think that demanding better work is never something that should be looked at as a bad thing or that should be hand-waved and dismissed. And if it has come across that I have done that, I want to rectify that. So that's why I reached out to Zakogdo. And again, his document is fabulous. Fabulous. I'm so excited to read some of his responses to my questions, to discuss them with Kaysen, and eventually again with Alex as well. And I think that we can really come around on some of that nuance and, maybe even talk about some solutions to what can we do or what can be done in the industry to, get to a place where faithfulness is prioritized, but where we aren't like handcuffing translators and doing a bad job in a different way, right? Where we're losing the intention in the translation. So these are going to be some really great conversations. I'm very, very excited to continue this series. I'm going to create a playlist specifically for this sort of localization controversy stuff. And you can look forward to at least one, if not two more episodes specifically about that. I think I want to do one where me and Kaysen sit down and just go over Zakogdo's document, and then another follow-up with Alex when he has time. So you can look forward to that. Again, thank you for watching the video. Thank you for adding to the discussion. Your comments are very, very appreciated by me, and I feel like I learned a lot from everybody. So thank you.